Well, welcome everyone to this groundbreaking event for this exciting project. It's great to see all of you here today. My name is Chris Bendix. I'm a project developer with Mercy Housing Northwest. And on behalf of everyone at our organization, it's my pleasure to welcome you here today. And, we've been working on this project for almost 2 years. So we always say that the groundbreakings happen when the project is halfway done. And that's especially true on projects that require lots of partnership like this one. And we're grateful to have so many partners here today, and you're going to hear from a lot of them. It's no small feat to build 100 new, affordable, family-sized homes, especially those that are pursuing the really aggressive energy efficiency and sustainability goals that this project has. And we wouldn't be here today without the support of so many people who are in this room. The first people you're going to hear from today are members of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. We would not be here today to celebrate this project without them. Sister Linda Patrick will offer us a reflection, followed by Sister Maureen Delaney will tell us more about the history of this exciting project and this campus and this place, and why it's so important. So, Sister Linda and Sister Maureen. Unless it's the right height for you.
Oh, I think it might be. So, good morning and welcome to this wonderful event, the groundbreaking for Mercy Housing Northwest, affordable workforce housing on Marylhurst Commons. As Chris said, I am Sister Linda Patrick. I'm a member of the leadership team of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, and I'm honored to be with you today. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge our Native brothers and sisters who use the banks of the Willamette River that flows past this land as a pathway between their permanent fishing villages. I also bring a bowl of soil that comes from the first home of the Sisters of the Holy Names in Quebec, Canada. It will be mixed with soil from this property as a sign of all the blessings that we have received from God for 179 years and will continue for the next 179 and beyond. I think the lease may run out before that, but it's in God's hands. So in 1843, in the small village of Longueuil, which is across the St. Lawrence River from Montreal, 3 women founded the Congregation of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. They were Eulalie de Rocher, who we call Mother Marie Rose, Mélodie Dufresne, and Henriette Serret. These women were inflamed by the love of God and the love of God's people. These 3 daring women recognized how the lack of education for girls, especially in families that were economically challenged, greatly impacted the lives of the girls and then their families and society. In 1859, 12 daring Sisters of the Holy Names left Longueuil, and after a journey of about 5 weeks by land and sea, arrived on the bank of the Willamette River in Portland, Oregon, and founded St. Mary's Academy. Again, responding to the needs of society for education, the sisters spread a legacy of excellent education throughout the states of Oregon, California, and Washington. In 1906, this stretch of land along the Willamette River was purchased, and an orphanage, an administrative center, and a college university were established. The mission of the Sisters of the Holy Names has always been, at its core, to listen to the most vulnerable in society and to use our gifts and resources to enable people to reach their full potential. We did this mainly through education, but also through hospital and prison ministry, social justice work, and as we see with our neighbor, Mary's Woods, providing a home for our elders. Today, in 2022, again, responding to the needs of the most vulnerable in our society, we are here with Mercy Housing Northwest to celebrate, to bless, and to break ground for the generations of people who will grace our land with their presence and call this place home. So let us take a moment to ask for God's blessing on this wonderful project. God, our Creator, you have been with us on this long journey. We thank you for your care for now and for generations to come. We thank you, amazing God, for the beauty of your creation that surrounds us on this land, for the river that runs close by, for the trees and growing plants, for the animals, the deer, the coyotes, the eagles, and all creatures that call this land home, for room where children can run and play, and where families can enjoy being outside in safety and beauty. We thank you and ask for your continued blessing on this land and all people, creatures, and growing things who will live here. We thank you, generous God, for bringing Mercy Housing team to this land. The care and talent that each member of the Mercy Housing team brings to this work is inspiring. The profound commitment to providing a warm and welcoming home for individuals and families permeates and guides all they do. We thank you for the gift of Mercy Housing team and ask for your blessing on their great hearts now and into the future. We thank you, Builder God, for the skills and talents of Walsh Construction and all other groups who will work on this project as they create on this land a beautiful, well-built home that will provide safe shelter for people and protect the environment. We thank you for all those who are involved in building this place, and we ask you to bless them and keep them safe. And most importantly, loving God, we thank you for all those who will come to call this home. We thank you for all the gifts they will bring to this community and to the world. As we end, I would like the Sisters of the Holy Names to stand, to face the site of Mercy Housing, and to join me in a blessing. If you would extend your hands. God, we thank you for the wonder and beauty of this land. We bless it now and into the future. Fill it with community, laughter, love, and all good things. Amen.
Well, thank you, Linda, for this most inspiring prayer and blessing. My name is is Sister Maureen Delaney, and I am the current province leader for the Sisters of the Holy Names of the U.S. Ontario Province. What a wonderful, wonderful occasion this is. And it is so good to see so many people here who have helped to make this thing happen. And I think some people are saying, well, how did this all come about? So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about it. When Marylhurst University closed in April of 2018, the campus reverted back to the Sisters of the Holy Names. And we, like everybody else, we were very sad that this happened. But our province leadership team, who at that time were Sisters Mary Breiling, Guadalupe Guajardo, Margaret Kennedy, Mary Rita, and myself, we knew it was our responsibility to start thinking of what could happen on this beautiful campus. We asked ourselves the questions: what activities or projects could take place on this campus that would be in keeping with our values? How can we preserve the beauty of this campus? And how can we address a current need? Now, we knew in order to answer these questions, we would have to talk with and listen to a wide variety of people who have a history and a love of this campus. To start with, we hired a consulting group, JLA Consulting Group, located here in Portland, and they specialize in working with groups who need help planning and implementing change for projects or situations. So Allison Brown from JLA became our facilitator. With Allison's help, we started gathering groups of people to have focus groups. And we asked people, what were memories that you had on the Marylhurst campus? What were future hopes, dreams, projects, or activities that you think might happen here? What do you think are current needs that we might be able to address? We wanted as much information as we could from a variety of people. So we met with the sisters at Mary's Woods and also the Sisters of the Holy Names in the area. We met with Marylhurst alumna, with past faculty, with staff. We met with Mary's Woods administrators and residents. We also met with local groups and local neighborhood groups. We told each group that we would listen to their ideas, their hopes, and their dreams for the campus, and that we, the province leadership team, would be the ones that would be making the final decision based on our values, and our values of service to others, particularly the underserved or the marginalized, commitment to Christian social justice values. We value hospitality. We value dedication to the full development of the human person, and we value collaboration with partners who share our values. So you can imagine that many people had lots of ideas about what could happen on this project, on this campus. But one theme kept coming up in every group, and people said, housing. We need housing. We need housing for people with fewer financial resources. So with that in mind, our next step was to find and to contact a group that built affordable housing. And one group that we, the sisters, had knowledge of and already supportive was Mercy Housing Northwest. We were familiar with the work that they did in the state of Washington and also in California. And we knew that Mercy Housing had a reputation for building attractive, safe, affordable housing. They do not just build the housing and get the residents and hire a manager and leave. No, Mercy Housing provides a variety of services for their residents. After-school programs for children and teens, programs for senior citizens, parents, and many more. So knowing all of this, our province leadership team said, we believe that Mercy Housing is the group that we, the sisters, want to partner with. So we come to this day, feeling grateful for the opportunity to see a new beginning on this campus that fits so well with our values and addresses a need. And so we look forward to celebrating today, and we also look forward to seeing all of you again when we have our grand opening in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Linda and Sister Maureen. And I also want to take just a moment to thank all of the staff who have been helping on this project behind the scenes from the Sisters of the Holy Names. There's a lot more than this, but I'll name a few people. Vicki, Jennifer, Lynn, Russell, Mark, thank you all for your help and commitment in making this project a reality. Our next speaker has served as a Clackamas County Commissioner since 2010. I should have probably given him a warning of who he was following today, too. That's a tough act to follow. He was recently re-elected a few weeks ago. Commissioner Paul Savas has been involved in local government and other civic organizations in Clackamas County for over 25 years. This project is fortunate to be the beneficiary of support from Clackamas County, and we're thrilled to have him here with us today. Please welcome Commissioner Paul Savas.
Thank you. It's great to be here today to mark this tremendous occasion. It was just about 5 months ago that Clackamas County celebrated the grand opening of Tukwila Springs redevelopment in Gladstone. This was the first housing development in Clackamas County to open using the Metro Affordable Housing Bonds. And in a couple of years, this fantastic Marylhurst Commons development will open and further the county's effort to combat the ongoing housing crisis. One of our board's strategic goals is to develop 1,500 affordable homes by 2025, and this goal will be met and it will be exceeded. And Marylhurst Commons is crucial to help us getting to that point. One of the reasons this particular development is so important is that of the 100 future apartment homes here, 40 apartments will provide supportive housing specifically for families with children who are homeless and are at risk of homelessness, which will help relieve the serious and long-lasting trauma homelessness inflicts on children. I'd like to thank this development sponsor, Mercy Housing Northwest, for helping and working in partnership with the Lake Oswego School District on this development to specifically reduce the number of unhoused families with children in the area. With most units being 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, and with an indoor children's play area and an outdoor playground, this will be a welcoming place for kids and children. We know that providing services on-site works. Residents in the 40 supportive housing units will receive services such as dedicated case manager and physical and mental health treatment. We've seen on-site services help our homeless veterans transform their lives at the Clackamas County Veterans Village site, which is just a few miles from here. That program takes homeless veterans off the streets, provides a roof over their heads, and inserts them into the community setting where they build community and have access to both on-site and off-site services. We have seen many move on to become more self-sustainable by acquiring more education, securing employment, and moving into stable housing. We all know that Lake Oswego is a high-cost area. By moving this project forward, local leaders show they believe in keeping housing affordable so they can afford to live in the community that they grew up in or worked in. I believe that affordable housing sites should be distributed throughout our county in areas like this, which has easy access to amenities like nearby public transportation, schools, and grocery stores. I'd like to finish by thanking the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, Mercy Housing Northwest, and the Lake Oswego City Councilor for their collective efforts to bring us to this point. I'd like to recognize the broader Lake Oswego community for stepping up and helping be part of the solution. We must all continue to come together and work together as one community facing the housing crisis that's upon us. Thank you all again. I look forward to hearing the success stories of Marylhurst Commons residents. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Savas. And I just want to point out, not only meeting but exceeding goals is not something that happens every day. And that's not without the hard work of a lot of city staff, some of whom are here today. Devin Ellen from the Housing Authority of Clackamas County has been a critical partner in this project, and we're really grateful for all of your hard work on this project. Our next speaker is Metro Councilor Christine Lewis, who represents District 2, which includes the city of Lake Oswego. And this project will benefit, and the residents of this project will benefit from the support of the Metro government. So we're pleased to have Council Member Christine Lewis with us today.
Thank you. It is my honor to represent our community at Metro Council. Metro is a unique regional government. Nowhere else in the country do 24 cities and 3 counties come together and say, what are the big issues of the day? What is it that we're grappling with that every one of us needs? And historically, it was managing our urban growth, making sure that we have a recycling and a garbage system that serves us. And today, it's housing. No one city or no one county can take on the crisis that we face. So we've come together, and voters across the region 2 times in the past 5 years have said yes to housing. And that's because of many of the leaders I see here in the room today. I can't thank you all by name, but there's so many partners that have not only made this particular project possible, but the movement to solve homelessness as a regional issue. So here we are, breaking ground or recognizing the beautiful environment where the construction's already been broken ground, in a place that is special. Access to nature. Nature is healing. Good transportation. We've got bus service just up the road, and I hope that that's going to become even more frequent and more reliable. And we have housing that's been planned specifically to support workforce and families, with most of those units being 2 and 3 bedrooms. We know that the people who need a safe place to raise their families, their kids, will have a place to call home here in Lake Oswego. Everybody deserves a safe and reliable place that they can open the door and close the door at night and go to sleep, take care of their family, raise their family, and this place is going to be that. My district is diverse. I have residents who live in a very urbanized setting like here in Lake Oswego, all the way to the edge of the district where I represent communities at the edge of Oregon City. The difference between those areas, there's many, but everybody shares the value, safe place to call home, and here we are today, breaking ground, celebrating the community's efforts. Metro is proud to be a partner, making Clackamas County one of the shining examples of where we've been able to open doors, and I look forward to 2024 where we'll open more doors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. Local government officials often feel affordable housing challenges most acutely, and that includes here in Lake Oswego. Our next speaker is Joe Buck, Mayor of Lake Oswego. Please welcome Joe Buck.
Good afternoon, everyone. Such an honor to be here in the community, and thank you all for coming out and being a part of this. Today is a big day for Mercy Housing Northwest, for the Sisters of the Holy Names, and for the Lake Oswego community as a whole. And it's a big day because of all the coordinated effort, the dreamers who started this project, and the many decision makers along the way, who all had to work together so that we can be gathered here, united in celebration. And it's a big deal because this project represents the first secured family, affordable, multifamily housing unit to ever be constructed in Lake Oswego. The most life-changing action that we can provide as a city is the opportunity for a child to grow up in a community like Lake Oswego who would otherwise not be able to. Where a child grows up influences their life expectancy, their future prosperity, their health, and opportunity. Nearly 2 decades ago, Lake Oswego formed its first affordable housing task force. It concluded with 9 recommendations, and that was done under the sage leadership of one of my predecessors, former Mayor Judy Hammerstad, who is here today and lives down on the campus. But it takes more than just one person with a vision. Judy had that vision, but she can't do it alone. Agreement was a challenge. The recommendations diluted, and none of the 9 recommendations were ever implemented. And this was all before the housing crash of 2008, before the statewide and regional housing crisis emergencies declared in the years since, and before the double-digit increases in housing prices year over year we see here in our community. With all love to my colleagues, Commissioner Savis and Councilor Lewis, us jurisdictions, we love to point fingers at each other, you know? Whose fault is it? Time for goals, they're easily filled with any number of community priorities, and affordable housing has continued on the slow track. Now, I voice these words to illustrate the large miracle a community development project like the one we are here to celebrate today really is. And I don't use the word miracle lightly in this environment, but the almost more of a blessing, the blessing of so many people's hard work. And from the land use to the funding to the community support, a project like this does not happen without many people saying yes. Yes to an opportunity for all members of our community. Yes to supporting families, children, seniors, and the most vulnerable among us. Yes to recognizing that we are a stronger, healthier community the wider our doors open, and may today be the start of us putting those doors straight off the hinges. So, thank you to all of you who have been a yes in this project along the way. Our community cannot be exemplary if we are not supporting all the many people it takes to make our community special, and there is no doubt that those very neighbors will, in the future, call this place home. So thank you all very much.
I also want to take a moment to thank the many city staff who helped make this project possible. I'm not getting everyone, but I'll just name a few. Scott Siegel, Evan Franstead, Jessica Numanoglu, and Evan, I forgot to write his name down, but the assistant city attorney, who was Evan Boone, there we go, who was also very helpful in getting this project permitted on time, which is not always the case. Our next speaker is Andrea DeBell, Director of the Oregon Department of Housing and Community Services, or OHCS. OHCS is a critical funding partner for this project, and the Marylhurst Commons Affordable Housing Project is the beneficiary of 2 funding programs, the Local Innovation and Fast Track Program and the Low Income Housing Tax Credit, both of which are administered by OHCS. Please welcome Director Bell.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody had their coffee? Good morning. It's really good to be in community with you. I'm so thankful to be here, so grateful to be in your presence. I have to say, I am sitting next to Sister Linda and Sister Maureen, who have been keeping me laughing all morning, by the way, so I think I got the best seat in the house. You know, I think to all of the leaders who are so committed to our beloved community and know how difficult building affordable housing is, I want to just acknowledge and appreciate their leadership, and I want to ground this and ground ourselves in the fact that the sisters were on the lookout for how to be of service, continued service to community, and the fact that you chose and went towards affordable housing shows that you don't choose the path of least resistance. There's a million other things that you could have selected. I'm not sure if I would have selected affordable housing, but I get why you did. You know, years ago, when I was at a really important juncture in my own journey of public service, I got to really understand and really know sort of the flame of love and compassion that exists within sisters. I spent some time with the Sisters of Carondelet, and they were really focused on social justice work, and at that time, my hair was green and I was riding my skateboard across that place, and so they've always reminded me not to ride my skateboard there. But what I got to see was that level of compassion and love in action. And, you know, the sisters said it at the top, which is around our values, our shared values. And whenever we come to a groundbreaking and whenever we have the opportunity, the gift to be in community together, it is important to acknowledge that we're not celebrating a moment in time. We are really celebrating the manifestation of our shared values. And those shared values are ones that ground us in our commitment to our beloved communities, our shared values in recognizing that our economies and our communities do better when everybody has a chance to succeed. And most importantly, our shared values that we do not accept. We do not accept homelessness as a fact of life, and we do not accept housing instability as a fact of life. Those do not just have to be, and they don't just naturally appear. And what we know is that when we think about community on an individual level and that sense of community, it is something that has to be built every day. It is something that we have to tend to. It's something that we have to care for. We don't just get it. And what is true for community is true for the entire state. That the progress that we make as a collective should be measured by how people are doing, not by numbers or abstractions. How people are doing. And what we know is when families have to move multiple times throughout the year to secure affordable housing, we have fallen short. When hourly wage workers and teachers have to have the difficult conversation amongst their families around which bill they're going to pay or which bill they're not going to be able to pay, we have fallen short. And when we simply do not have enough affordable housing, which is the bedrock, it is the bedrock, the very bedrock of our foundation as individuals. When we don't have enough of it, then we have fallen short. Now, as a state, we all know that we need more affordable housing. Over the next couple of years, we're preparing to ask for more than $700 million in affordable housing. Now, there generally is not a day goes by that I don't get a question from someone saying, Director, are you sure, did you say 700 million? And we remind people that as housers, we know how to do math very well. And we're not interested in a convenient ask. Nothing about this work is convenient. Nothing about when someone doesn't have their basic needs met is convenient. And so what we remind them is we're not interested in convenient. We're interested in what people need and fighting for that. Because that is what we do. That is what all of us do every single moment of every single day. Through the lens of humanity, we are relentless. Because if we are not willing to be relentless, then what's it all for? And so after the last couple of years, I know that so many communities have struggled. There have felt like really dark days in some moments. And I know for me, growing up in a very poor, working class family, my grandfather was an agricultural worker and my grandmother was a special education teacher and my mom was a social worker. Recognizing that housing plays a critical role in that sense of community. Let us just remind ourselves that even after the last couple of years of so many dark moments and hard moments, that it generally is always darkest before dawn. And there's so much and so many reasons to still feel hope and optimism. And sure, there are a couple of moments and times where we feel cynicism a little bit. I fall into it sometimes. But what we know is that there is nowhere to go from there. And so let the sisters' strength and resilience and the leadership displayed here remind us that there's so many reasons to feel hope and optimism. Because, my friends, to love our community, to be of service to our community, it requires us to hold that vision. And if we cannot hold a vision, then we cannot activate real progress, meaningful progress, inclusive progress. And so both here today and as we go on into our respective day-to-day work that is commitment field, let us remind ourselves that there are so many reasons to feel solace and to feel hope and to wrestle with, I think, what is a really important question, which is who are we to one another? And my optimism, my hope, is not blind optimism. It doesn't mean that we don't see the challenges. It doesn't mean that we don't see our differences. We should see that as a community, as a state, we should absolutely see our differences. And in spite of that, let us feel solace in knowing that our shared values, the commitment that we have to our communities, the commitment that we have to our neighbors, it is the light, it is the very force by which we can summon our best selves and inspire our neighbors to also summon their best selves. And if you're asking why, look at the very reason that we're here today. Because we are preparing to welcome new families whose life will be forever changed by your goodwill in action, and by the hope that you feel and the energy that you feel, and knowing that it's only right that we all have our basic needs met. So while there's so much that I could say to all the leaders, to all of the local leaders that I know are working really hard and having to wrestle with tough decisions of every single moment, I see you. To the sisters that could have chosen a number of other things to get into other than affordable housing, I see you. To Mercy Housing, I see you. To all of the leaders, to all the community members that took the time to make this happen, to take the time to show your will of support, I see you, and my hope is that your community sees you and sees the love and the hope that you have for all of them. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Director Bell, and to the many OHCS staff who have been working hard behind the scenes to make this project happen. Our penultimate speaker today is Mercy Housing CEO Ismael Guerrero. While Mercy Housing Northwest has been working in Washington and Idaho for many years, including just across the border in Vancouver, this is our first project here in Oregon. So it is a momentous occasion for us as an organization to be able to celebrate this with all of you today. And it will not be our last. Please welcome Ismael Guerrero.
Good morning, good afternoon, now. We did cross the noon hour. First of all, let me say thank you to for all the service for the sisters, our elected officials, our public servants who just spoke before me, for all your dedication and your good work in this community that we're now a part of. So join me in thanking them again just for that public service. Not always easy. I also wish you weren't all such good public speakers. They're tough to follow, right? Well, I am Ismael Guerrero. I'm the president and CEO of Mercy Housing, affectionately known as the Mothership. I'm glad to be visiting you here from Denver. Really glad to be here. It was 20 degrees colder and snowing when I left this morning, so it's nice to be in the sunshine and a little warmer weather. I've been involved in affordable housing for over 25 years now, starting back in my hometown of Chicago, where I grew up, and then the last 13 years or so running the Denver Housing Authority, and the last 2.5 years as the president and CEO of Mercy Housing. So this is really something special for me, and it's been my life's work. And each groundbreaking and grand opening celebration is really a reminder for me of why I love what I do so much. I grew up in the Pilsen Little Village neighborhood in Chicago. It was a low-income immigrant community where crime rates were high and school performance was low. And I'm reminded that if it wasn't for a stable home, a caring family, and a community, I don't know if I would have made it out from the chaos and be here with you today. And I'm blessed to lead this amazing organization doing amazing work in communities like Lake Oswego. Mercy Housing, I'm going to give you a little bit of the Mercy Housing story so you're familiar with our organization and your new neighbor here. Mercy Housing, we were established 40 years ago in 1981, and the vision and the catalyst even then and now was to be an organized and concrete response to providing housing justice for those who are economically disadvantaged. You see, at its core, Mercy Housing is more than a business, even as our core business is real estate and housing development, which, thanks to the amazing housing development team at Mercy Housing Northwest, we do exceptionally well. But you see, for us, housing is a means to an end. Safe, stable housing is necessary to begin the work of impacting a family and a person's quality of life and providing hope for their future. Residents are our North Star, and we want to inspire them to achieve their dreams, not our dreams, but their dreams. That is why for our resident programs really are at the heart of our mission. And one important legacy of our founding communities of sisters is the belief and the practice that we do this work collaboratively and in partnership with the communities we serve. That is why I'm so grateful to be here with you, celebrating this great milestone with you today. And now we're excited to say that we are part of the Lake Oswego community. Thanks to the leadership of your fellow Oregonian here, Dee Walsh, who is our Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer. You'll be hearing from Joe Thompson here in a second, the President of Mercy Housing Northwest, and the whole staff. We are here, and we're here to stay. I can confidently say that our commitment here at Marylhurst Commons is not just to deliver much needed affordable housing. We are committed to being good neighbors and active members of this community. I want to thank the Sisters of the Holy Names for inviting us to partner with them in reimagining this beautiful campus, and the City of Lake Oswego, the county, our state partners for their support and partnership. And in close, I'll leave you with a short blessing that the sisters were very fond of, that I'm very fond of, and I think continues to inspire us today. May God bless you with the foolishness to think that you can make a difference in the world, so that you will do the things that others say cannot be done. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Ismail. Our final speaker today is Joe Thompson, President of Mercy Housing Northwest. And I also have to say, before he comes up here, I have to thank him and Colin Morgan Cross, our Director of Real Estate Development, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today for this event. But much gratitude to you and your leadership on this project, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And Chris is an incredibly humble person, but he is really one of the driving forces for this project for the last couple years and for the next couple years, and it could not be in better hands. And so thank you, Chris. So I'm Joe Thompson. I'm the president of Mercy Housing Northwest, and this is a big day for us. It's a big day for this community, and it's such a beautiful day today. So I'm so excited to be here. For 30 years, Mercy Housing Northwest has provided deeply affordable housing in Washington and Idaho. And today marks a really big milestone for us. As you've heard before, it's not a news flash, but it bears saying again that this is our first groundbreaking in the state of Oregon, and it is amazing. So we could not be more honored and excited to have that first groundbreaking here in the city of Lake Oswego. And I just want to say the city of Lake Oswego has been so welcoming and supportive of this project that we could not ask for a better community to have our first project in. So thank you, City of Lake Oswego. And then to be able to have that first project on this beautiful campus of Marylhurst University, I just imagine when that building is built and there's kids out here running around playing, who could ask for a better place to raise your family and to be a kid? It's amazing. So I wanted to take a moment and just kind of give a more proper introduction of Mercy Housing, since this is our first project. So first and foremost, what I want folks to know about Mercy is that we are really a mission-driven organization. We develop, we own, we manage, and we provide services for our residents. Because we are a long-term owner, we operate our own property management and on-site services. And what that means is, as you've heard before, we're in it for the long haul. Once we develop something, we stay involved for the long term. And I want you also to know that we view our properties as a really important part of each community that we develop in. And we really strive to be the nonprofit developer of choice in every one of those communities. And I know we are going to be great neighbors for the other members of this Lake Oswego community. So a few people have mentioned resident services before, and I really think, I just want you to know, that's why I work for Mercy Housing, because we develop amazing affordable housing communities, but once we develop them, it's what happens at those communities that makes a difference. We really use that affordable housing as a stable platform to really create transformative change for our residents and to give them the space to really thrive and not just worry about today, but really dream big dreams for tomorrow. So we've heard that today is a day of firsts. It's the first family affordable housing in Lake Oswego. It's Mercy's first project here in Oregon. But there are going to be a lot of other firsts that happen at this building once it is built and once it welcomes families home. There's going to be a family that's going to celebrate the birth of their first child, and they're going to celebrate that first birthday of that child, and they're going to see that child off to kindergarten at an amazing school in an amazing school district in Lake Oswego, and someday, off in the future, that child's going to likely be the first person in their family to graduate from college. And that first will forever change the trajectory of their family. And again, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm so proud to work for Mercy Housing. So, a lot of firsts. You know, one of the things that is not a first here is it's not the first time that the sisters have stepped up and lived their values and put those values into action. You know, you heard earlier about the sisters making that journey from Quebec to Portland. And one of the things, as I was reading a little bit about the sisters and that journey, is, you know, there was a smallpox outbreak, and the sisters chose to convert one of those schools that they had to really serving those folks who had those who were inflicted with that horrible disease. And that's an example of the sisters responding to the greatest need of the day. And when Marylhurst University closed its doors a few years ago, as you heard before, they asked, what's the greatest need for today, and where can we be, and what can we do today to make the greatest difference? And they chose a hard path, and that was to develop affordable housing. And we are so honored to have been chosen as their partner, and to have been entrusted by them to really be able to develop this housing. So thank you to the sisters. I really appreciate that they saw the value of this place as being something more than financial. They saw the highest value of this land, not in dollars, but really in how it could best benefit and serve this larger community. Not everybody makes that decision. Matter of fact, very few people make that decision. And they need to really be applauded for that. So sisters, on behalf of everybody in this room, on behalf of everybody who works for Mercy Housing, and really on behalf of everyone who is going to call this beautiful community home for the next at least 90 years. That's what our ground lease is for at least the next 90 years. Thank you. I also want to thank another person who I am not sure this project would be possible, or I'm not sure if we could call it a Mercy project without this person's involvement. And this is a person who has done so much for the development of affordable housing really across the country, but especially here in Oregon, and that's my boss, Dee Walsh. So Dee, when she heard that Marylhurst was closing, the first call she made was to the sisters and said, "Have you thought about affordable housing?" So thank you, Dee, for making this possible today. Thank you. So in a few moments, we're going to step outside with some of our partners, and I want to acknowledge some of those partners who, some of have been acknowledged already, but why not do it again? So again, Oregon Department of Housing and Community Services, Oregon Metro, the Housing Authority of Clackamas County, the Sisters of Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, Key Bank and Key Community Development Corporation, Carlton Hart Architecture, and Walsh Construction. Thank you for everything you've done. So together with those partners, we're going to go outside in this beautiful sun, thankfully not in the rain. And we're going to put some shovels in the ground, and we're going to snap some photos and sort of do the obligatory shovel thing. And that begins the work, or the next phase of the work, in creating that space into 100 homes. I think we're doing a lot more than just moving dirt around for those photos. I think we're planting a seed. And I think over the next 18 months or so, that seed will germinate and blossom. It will grow into a structure, into a home where kids will grow and learn, and where parents can find stability Seniors can age with dignity, and those experiencing homelessness can find security. So on behalf of Mercy Housing Northwest, my thanks go out to each of you for your willingness to work with us, to entrust us with this incredible resource, and along with the sisters, to answering that call to do more and be more. Thank you.
Photo op is over. So we are blessing this for the next 179